Before we begin, we want to share that Claudine, whose voice you're about to hear in this episode, passed away shortly after this conversation was recorded. We are grateful that she took the time to sit down with Dr. Stephanie and share her stories, her humor, and her heart. As you listen, please know this episode now stands not only as an interview, but as a remembrance.
Hi, this is Dr. Stephanie Wattier, and I'm the host of Conversations with a Chiropractor. This is not a health how-to, but rather a conversation with some amazing people I've had the pleasure of being with on my journey of life. Think of it more like Tuesdays with Maury, a fireside chat, or chicken soup for the soul. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and enjoy this conversation with a chiropractor. Today on Conversations with a Chiropractor, we are joined by Claudine, who is 89 years old. Claudine, thanks for being on the podcast.
Oh, that's okay.
I want you to tell me a little bit about what it was like when you were born and you grew up. So you were born in Iron Mountain?
My parents lived in Iron Mountain, and they lived with my grandfather.
Okay.
So my mother and dad, my mother's a Swede, my father was an Italian, and they lived together with an old Italian man who would pour coffee in a cup and put bread in a cup. He was the sweetest old man. And when he started to work, he worked at Lake Antoine, and he took me there. And I remember of him wiping off the swing so I could sit down. And he was just such a memorable person. And then my mom and dad moved to Iron Mountain, to Kingsford.
Okay.
That's where I was raised, was in Kingsford.
What was your grandfather's name?
Orlando Constantini.
That is such a cool Italian name.
It was his old name. He came,
Did he come from
he
Italy?
came from Italy. My grandpa and grandma came from Italy, and my grandma and grandpa on my mother's side came from Sweden. But it was very close to Finland, so they didn't know if they were part Finn or not. So it was, like two completely different people,
Like cultures.
Absolutely. Everything. Yeah, everything. My father worked in the mine. My grandfather, not my father. My father was a railroad worker, and he basically worked on the railroad most of his life. My mother didn't work in the beginning. She stayed home, took care of, me. And then 8 years later, I had a brother, which was, we were very, very different, but we had a special relationship, It was fun. I had a little brother, and all my friends used to think that was terrible because my mother had a baby when she was so old.
Oh.
Because there's 8 years difference in us.
Okay.
But I was happy, because it was a little baby,
Yes.
And as we grew up, we had normal fights like everybody else did, but we were very, very close. We did so many things together. He drove my mother and dad crazy. He would sass them, he would run away from them, and my mother was this little sweet lady that she would chase him down, and she said, "When I get you, you're going to get a spanking." And he didn't care,
Oh my gosh.
He was just...
That sounds like my son.
Yeah.
He pushed my buttons. He knew he was pushing my buttons.
Yeah.
He would smirk when he did something wrong.
It's really great. When I grew up as a teenager, he really didn't want me to have boyfriends.
Really?
No, because he thought that was not good, So he hid in the car. We went out one time. He hid in the car, and when we got to Iron Mountain, he pops up and he said, "Ha, I see what you're doing, Claudine." And it's like, "You little rat, you." So we had to bring him home.
He was protecting you.
He was protecting me. He didn't want me to have any fun. It was a very special, it still is, and now he has had strokes and he's fallen on the ice. He's hurt himself, and he came down to see me.
What a beautiful relationship.
Yep, it really is. And he knows when I went into the hospital, they told me, you have leukemia. And I said, and when you say that, what are you saying? She said, well, you have the worst kind of leukemia. It's not going to go away. And I said, well, how much time do I have? She said, do you want me to tell you now without any of your family? I said, yes, I do. I will handle it myself because I've always handled everything myself.
Yeah.
And she said, you have weeks or months, which isn't a lot of time,
No.
But I'm very fortunate. My kids are I told them I don't want to die alone. I don't want to be here in this house in the nighttime alone. So now tonight, Mary stayed with me, and last night Dennis stayed with me. They're my one of my sons and my daughter-in-law. And then they fix me breakfast in the morning, and they make sure I'm up and moving. And I wear this "Help Me, I've Fallen"
Life alert.
life alert. And life isn't that bad. I've had a great life.
Yes.
I raised 4 boys the best I could and loved every one of them. And we did a lot together. Really, I was probably in the neighborhood the only mother who ever went out with the kids and did dumb things. I rode 4-wheeler with them. I rode dirt bike with them. I rode snowmobile with them. And I rode horses with them. There was nothing that I didn't do with them because I had all boys. I loved it. And I always made sure that whatever kind of machine we were riding, mine was bigger and faster. Because they could go faster than me.
Mama needed to make sure she could ramp those.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of my kids liked one thing and some of them liked the other. So it was great. With my youngest one, I did the horses more.
Okay.
And with the second to the youngest one, I did snowmobiling.
Wow.
I love snowmobiling too. And with the third one, he rode horses sometimes, but not as much as the younger one did because he had to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the oldest one we camped with for years. We camped with, and even when my husband was not as healthy and he didn't drive good, I drove a truck and pulled a trailer with a boat behind it so we could go camping.
Wow.
So I've done a lot,
Yes.
with all my kids, different things,
It's so interesting how tough you are,
Well, I was,
Yeah, you still are tough.
Yeah. Well, and I mow all my own grass. I don't know how much I mow, but I mow it all. And I used to mow the apple orchard, but that got to be too much for me now, so somebody else has to do it. But I always used to tell the kids, the day that I die, I'm going to die on my lawnmower. So be careful. It's going to be a mess because I'm going to fall off,
You're going to just keep living life.
I am. And right now it's hard.
Yeah.
I've had 2 seizures now that they had to give me morphine, because I couldn't breathe. And that's why I'm scared to stay home alone at night.
Yeah.
I don't want to die alone.
Well, I think it's very wise for you to have your family around.
Oh, yeah. And this morning, they've all called and see how I was. And everything seems to be going good. So
Yeah.
during the day, I stay home alone, except for the visits,
Yeah.
But nighttime, I have someone here.
So good. Can I pick your brain a little bit? So you grew up in Kingsford.
Yes.
And what happened after you graduated from high school?
Right after high school, I got married. And I married a man who was very abusive. He was abusive to me. He was abusive to my children. But in them days, you didn't just get a divorce. You lived with it. So for 13 years, I lived with him, and I loved him dearly. But it got to the point where he was going to hurt one of my kids.
Yeah.
So I got a divorce and went to live with my mom and dad in a 2-bedroom house.
With 4 kids.
With 4 boys, they slept on the floor, but I eventually bought a trailer, and I had a trailer with 2 bedrooms. I had 4 boys in 1 bedroom. And we made it.
Yeah.
No.
You had some sort of a resilience that, like you said, some women in those days, they wouldn't have left, but you wanted to protect your children.
Yeah, I had to, because he got to the point where he was so mean. When I left because he was very angry at me, and I was carrying my youngest son up the hill, and all I could think of was because he had taken his gun out, and it was a scare tactic. It worked good. And my neighbor from down the road came in, and he said, "Why are you carrying, Dennis up the hill?" And I said, "Because Albert said he was going to shoot me." And I thought, if he shoots me, it shouldn't go through and shoot my son. So, yeah, and I left him, and that basically was, he had done other things before that.
Did you have to get a job to support?
Yeah, I did. I got a job. I was a nurse's aide, and I did that for over a year. And I met my second husband at my relative's bar. They owned a bar in Aurora, Wisconsin. And I loved to dance.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a good dancer, and he asked me to dance, and I married him. So, and we were married for 52 years.
Yeah.
So,
Notice you.
huh?
How did he notice you?
He noticed me because I had a red sweater on, and I had nice shape. So
You were a looker.
yeah, and I love,
Are a looker.
yeah, I love to dance also. And we danced for many, many years before I couldn't anymore. So even at my granddaughter's wedding, I couldn't dance. I actually stood up with one of my daughter-in-laws and just slowly did a little dance. And now they're all taking care of me. So
How did you end up in Scandia?
that's where we moved to because Aston was from Marquette,
Okay.
and he worked in the mining journal.
Oh, he did.
And he worked there but he was also in the service before he met me. And then he went and joined the National Guard.
Oh.
And he was a very good shooter. He has over 20 years of trophies for being the #1 shooter in the National Guard.
Wow.
And
Force, Navy,
he was
best of the best.
he was very good, very, very accurate.
Your sons looked at him as a father?
Yes, they did. They did. And he called, he treated them like sons. He never had any children, so it was different for him. But he treated them as good as he could. So, and that basically, we had to end up putting him in the nursing home.
How old was he when he passed?
Yeah, probably 87, 86 or 87.
So you guys were together for 52 years. I mean, that's longer than a lot of marriages.
Oh, that's absolutely.
Do you have any advice for married people? Anything that you think is the key to having a lasting marriage?
Make sure you talk. People nowadays don't talk. They don't. If they have a problem, they keep it to themselves. And it ends up being, terrible because they haven't talked them out. And they won't say what's wrong. If you don't tell a person what's wrong, it's going to make a bigger problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with Eston, in the end, he got dementia or Alzheimer's, whatever, and he couldn't remember anything. And things that he did while we were married that wasn't really proper, he forgot all about, but I have a very good memory. So I was bitter when he went into the nursing home. I was really bitter because of all he put me through. And the last thing he said to me was, if you don't get out of here, I'm going to shoot you all.
Wow.
And I said, you will never say that to me again. And that's when they took him.
Wow.
So it was very, very scary.
Dementia is a really hard disease. Yeah.
And knowing him and being such a good shot, I didn't know
Yeah.
if he would really do something like that. So my oldest son called the state police or called 911, and the state police came. And my grandson was the state police, and he came in the house, and he had to call somebody else because he says, I can't deal with this. This is my grandma. That was terrible. But it was once he was in the home and he was safe, and then he changed. His personality changed, and he was,
Stayed on his medication.
yeah.
Well, he was here before he went in. He would sometimes not take his medication.
Well, he wouldn't
He
take
would not
right.
shower for months at a time.
So
It's really unique. I think the memory care teams, they know the disease process and they know how to handle the patients. And unfortunately, the family members are the ones who get, pardon my French, I can't say a swear word on the pooped on,
yeah,
taken advantage of because you're the one fighting them to take their meds and fighting them to take a shower and fighting them to eat. And it's a hard thing. It's a hard
horrible.
thing.
It's horrible. Yeah, you can't imagine, the stress that it puts on you.
Yeah.
And you can't handle it. You cannot handle that. After a while, it gets to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, when he got in there and he talked about all his problems, and he was a sweet person, but it was too late
Yeah.
because my memories were too vivid, too new, just. So it's a sad thing,
Yeah.
but it happens. It happens in a lot of families. And the big thing was talking. You've got to talk your problems out. You've got to tell them everything that's on your mind, not just a little bit,
Yeah. Because otherwise it builds up. Then you blow up and it's been months or years of held emotion.
Yeah, and then you can't deal with them. They're too big and they're too. It's too late.
Yeah.
It's just too late then.
I'm gonna pull us back to all those fun times that you had as an adventurous mama with your sons. Tell me about the time where you took the horses to Laughing Whitefish Falls.
Oh, there's a cave in Whitefish Falls, and my youngest son found the cave, and he went down there, under there, and the 4 or 5 of us with the horses stayed on the top. And as it rained and the horses did their thing, it leaked down, and it was to the point where I had a scarf on my head and we had sleeping bags, but the rain and the horse urine came down the hill and my hair was stuck to my scarf, and it was, and Dennis comes out from under the cave and he said, well, I'm not wet at all, Ma. What happened to you? And it's like, oh my God,
Mom got the short end of the stick that day.
Absolutely. After I took them all for this nice ride.
And then you had to ride home with a scarf saturated with urine.
Absolutely. And it was, Laughing Whitefish Falls. And here is got to be what? Yeah, 20 miles. And we were on horseback.
Wow.
With our little bundles behind us.
Oh,
They could have all went down to the cave because the cave is like 20 by 30.
But we didn't want to go down below that hill in the dark,
And plus there might be spiders underneath there.
of course there are spiders.
Yeah, not me and spiders. Yeah. No.
Where were some of the places that you went camping?
Well, I didn't go camping a lot. Oh, yes, we did. We went to Lake Superior and we set up tents down there. and we rode the horses under that bridge that's down there by Sand River. And my kids, all of the kids rode bareback with their horses, but I couldn't ride bareback, so I went in there with my saddle on because I thought, I can't stay on that horse bareback, you know. I'm not limber like those kids, so I rode in with the saddle and all, and just, we had such a good time. I mean, riding in the water with horses and the galloping they do is just unbelievable.
That's like people's dreams. You can just imagine someone going on vacation and paying to ride a
Yeah.
horse of water.
And then when they run on the beach, you can hear the sand.
Squeak.
Yeah. And they get so clean and they're beautiful.
If you're on a horse when they're swimming, it's a feeling you will never feel ever.
No, it's just, yeah, it's just so unique.
Oh, I can't imagine. So here where you live now, you have acreage and the horses were here with you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And we raise cows and we raise pigs
Chicken.
to eat, and chickens. Yeah, the chickens were, not very exciting.
Raccoon.
My youngest son was cutting a tree down in the woods, and when it fell, it had a mother and 4 baby raccoons, and the mother got killed. So he brought the 4 babies home to me. And I had a dog pen because I had little poodles and I didn't have them anymore, but the pen was still there. So we put the raccoons in the pen and we bottle fed them. I mean, we put bottles on the cage, and we gave 2 of them away, and one of them got sick and literally shit his guts out.
Oh my gosh.
So being the person I am, I got the raccoon and I pushed all his guts back in him and put him back in the cage. And he was alive. He didn't die. I mean, he got to be really mean. But the other one we kept. The mean one we gave away because he was just too mean to be in.
Yeah.
I had young kids yet. But the other one lived with us probably a full year before he ran away, because when my son would go up the ladder, the raccoon would crawl up the ladder with him.
Oh my God.
Or go in the tree and he would go up the tree with him.
What?
I mean, he was just, and he would come in the house, and if you put food on the counter, he would pick up Cheerios and eat one at a time. And he was our friend,
He'd sit on your lap and
Yeah, he was just so good. Yeah.
And how big was his?
Oh, how big
How
was
big was?
I don't know. He was, a good sized raccoon.
Or 5 pounds you would.
Yeah.
45 pounds.
But he ran away before fall.
Okay.
So I'm sure he found a girlfriend someplace or something, because we didn't keep him penned up,
Okay. He stayed because he wanted to stay.
He wanted to stay because he was still a baby, but when he got older, he was a typical, raccoon that wanted to go out. And
I usually think of raccoons as being mean.
yeah, but they were raised from babies, so yeah. I mean, for the longest time, the 2 of them played together. But after the other one had crapped his insides out, he was too mean to be with him,
Something may be wrong with
I'm sure,
How would you like to have a hand stuck up your?
yeah.
Did everything get put back in the right way?
No, I mean, I just pushed it back in
Wow.
because I'd heard about that they can, have crap in it. Just pushed it back in.
Wow.
We raised pigs, and one of the pigs did the same thing. And the kids lifted me over the fence, and I pushed that back in, and we put one of those skinny little pipes, the water pipe things in, and then we put elastic band around the rectum and the elastic band, and that pig lived. And he pooped through that little thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like a veterinarian.
I'm just a dumb one, but mother.
Well, and you weren't raised on a farm.
No,
So all of this experience that you have with these animals, you're self-taught.
Yeah.
Figuring it out.
First husband. Okay. He was from a farm.
Yeah. But, I mean, and my kids have heard about this different things that you do. And And it didn't bother me. One of my kids held that pig and pushed that thing up his rectum and put elastic band around that tube, and he lived.
You are tough.
I was, yeah. I was a tough woman, and now I'm paying the price, but I never dreamed that I had leukemia. This happened so fast. Within a week, I would say that I got weaker and weaker. And when my one son came over on a football, what do you call it? Super Bowl. And I looked at him and he said, "How are you, Mom?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. I don't feel the best." And he sat there and he said, "What do you mean you don't feel the best?" I said, "I don't know. I just feel kind of funny." And he said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to call the walk-in clinic and see if I should go in."
Yeah.
And I called and they were closed.
Oh.
And the longer I sat here, the funnier I felt. And I said, "No, I think maybe could you give me a ride to the emergency room?" I said, "Because I just don't feel right. I just feel really funny." And when I got in there, they said, you could have died. You were septic.
Wow.
For your UTI.
Yeah, because I had a UTI.
Track infection.
Oh. And they said I got that from the leukemia. And I spent, I don't know how many days in the hospital pumping me full of medicine.
Or at least a week and a half.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that you listened to that instinct.
Because I didn't want to screw up their Super Bowl is what it amounted to. I thought if I can wait one more day, I could go into the walk-in. But thank goodness I didn't wait one more day.
Yeah.
I just had that terrible feeling.
Yeah, it's a good thing you listened to that.
Yeah.
Claudine, do you feel like you've gotten to do all the things you'd ever want to do in this life?
I'm really quite content with my life. I really am. All my kids come over and visit with me. They all are taking turns taking care of me. I get food from them. Most of the time, it's really good food.
Most of the time.
Sometimes somebody brings over a gross.
Well, it's too much pepper that I can't eat. But I can truthfully say that I am ready whenever God wants me. And I am a very religious person. I pray for all my friends that are sick. And now I'm praying for myself, that I have somebody here when I go. I didn't want to go alone. That's it,
And her mother passed away in her bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my father I took care of. And he passed away in hospital. So.
Yeah, he was diagnosed with diabetes.
Yeah. But he had cancer.
He a very slim chance of making it out of the surgery. And he lived for probably 11 years after that, eh?
Yeah, he had one leg, and I took care of him, and his one leg had, what do you call it?
Gangrene.
Gangrene, and I took care of him, and I took care of my mother, and they both slept in my bedroom, and me and my husband went upstairs and slept in one of the kids' rooms, and I kept a baby monitor on him, and my father would sing to my mother every night. It was a good time, but such a sad time, And they died 3 months apart.
Wow.
My mother died in the bedroom that I'm sleeping in now. And my dad would, stay there and talk to her, and she was gone, and it was such a sad time. But I felt good because I got to take care of him.
Absolutely.
But they lived here for well over a year.
Yeah, they were. And I took care of him. I mean, it was good. I had help from all my kids.
You're a living example of a woman who shows her love by action, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, if I go, there's not going to be a whole bunch of money, but the memories are, when you start with your memories, they start and they build up and you get more and more and more, and that's what you live for.
Yeah.
You've lived to be a mother and a grandmother and a daughter and a sister.
Yeah, I feel like that I'm ready to go. I just want to go alone. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No time yet, though.
of course.
Well, maybe not. But like I said, I know that I don't have a whole lot of time, but I'm making the best of it, because I'm getting to visit with my kids. And my daughter-in-law came down and took $1 away from me playing cribbage last night.
Hard last night. She's usually in bed by 9. She was up until 11:30.
My gosh.
It was fun though, because we were playing dice and we played cribbage and we played Screw Your Neighbor, and then we played on our telephones. So
And then she did her dishes. She cleaned the coffee pot. She put her dishes away. And
Because she knew you were coming today.
well, yeah, I didn't want to have a dirty coffee pot, and then they didn't.
Mary is a very special female there.
Well, yeah, she's
Your daughter-in-law.
yeah. She comes over 3 nights a week.
Yep.
And we play cards for an hour before she goes to work.
before now, because I don't have pool on Tuesday nights no more.
Oh, no kidding. So I only get an extra night.
So now you'll be able to get some of that money back from her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And yeah. Where's my little pink?
Oh,
This is
the
my
cribbage
This
queen.
is isn't that cute? The cribbage queen.
That is so.
My daughter-in-law, granddaughter, made me that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you see, there's a $50 bill in there.
That was it. I know.
See that.
This was one of my sons, didn't have enough money. So he said, Ma, all I got is a $50 bill. And I told him, well, I can cash that in my winnings. And I cashed it, and he has tried to get it back ever since. And I said, oh, no, that'll be there when I'm gone. But we play for $1 a game, so, and I play with all my kids. All my kids play cards, and I play cards. I love playing cards. So, that's my life.
Well, you know what I think is a real gift is that you have your mind and you
Yeah,
have your memories,
I'm so lucky there.
and you're pretty spry. I mean, you can get around, you can play cribbage, you can.
Well, I know what to do now. I mean, I've got the wheelchair right there sitting. And if I have to go out, I'm going to have to use the wheelchair. It was my dad's.
Wow.
That's how old it is. And I have 4 walkers. I have my in-house. This was my husband's walker from Jacobetti, and it's a big sturdy one.
Nice.
And this is one I use because when I get tired, I can sit down.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah. And then I have one outside. When I go down the steps, I got a walker there. I have a walker in the back of my car that I go to church with. That's my church walker because you can pick it up and it's easy to fold.
Nice.
And I have to use it to go shopping,
Okay.
so. And when I used to go down the basement, I have another one down there. You can get them for $10 at.
She's grown it down there.
Yeah, I can't do that no more. I can't do that.
That's wise.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
So when I need something, I just tell the kids and they'll go down and find it for me.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And when
Go ahead. Please go
when
ahead.
I sit in my dad's wheelchair, it gives me this good feeling.
Oh.
When I see her in that chair, I just think of my grandfather yelling to my son, Calvino, porta la gamba,
Yeah.
bring the leg.
Bring the leg because I took care of his kids too when he got a divorce. They lived with me.
Wow.
I mean, a couple of times. And I had my mother and dad. I mean, anybody who needed me, I was always there for. At least I tried to be.
Yes.
You can't always be, but I definitely tried to be.
Yes. Oh, I think you definitely were
Well, as much as I could.
and are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like I have to be, I know I have to be careful.
The shoes on the other foot.
Yeah. And I have to depend on my kids, which is very, very hard for a person who's been the one that did it all the time.
Absolutely.
I always think I have a list of who's going to come over my house tonight my grandson is going to come over, and one of my oldest son, and they're going to grill out, and we're going to eat supper together, and then the ones who aren't staying are going to go home, and the one who is staying will stay with me. So
It's lovely.
it is, yeah.
Grandson and granddaughter.
Yeah. Who knows? I don't care as long as somebody's here. When I shut my bedroom door at night, I want to know that somebody is in my front room or in the bedroom.
You didn't shut it last night.
I didn't?
No, you left it open.
Oh, that's when I pushed back. I didn't push hard enough.
I thought you left it open on purpose.
Oh, no. When I did have I don't know what you want to call it.
Anxiety.
An anxiety attack is really scary.
Yeah.
Attack.
Yeah.
Some kind of an attack.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Well, they give it. They said I have to take an anxiety pill after they give me the morphine,
Okay.
and it just calmed me down, so that it quits beating. It was, it was so scary.
Yeah. Well, it does feel like your heart is going to beat out of your chest.
Yeah.
Or that you can't catch your breath.
Yeah. It's a scary feeling. It's really hard to explain to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they said you give it 5 minutes, and my daughter-in-law said, "No, Mom, it's still not 5 minutes. You've got to give it a little more time." And she said, "Try to relax." And I really worked hard at it, and it did. It went away.
Good.
And then the next night I had another attack with my son, and he handled it very good. But I got an Uga horn. An Uga horn that was my mother's when she lived here with me, because before we got the walkie-talkies, we, had no way of doing it. So I bought the bicycle horn. And I'm sure Dennis is going to get it.
I think your son is going to get it.
Yeah, But I did that the 2 nights, and they heard it, and they come running in. Yeah, that's the Uga horn.
That's the Uga horn. That's perfect.
Yeah, but that's,
It's your call button.
it's my call button, yeah.
That's
So
wonderful.
if I push that thing, you better come fast, because I'm scared.
I told her the other night I was going to sleep with her.
Yeah, that's right.
She was going to have her head at this end, and I was going to have my head at the other end.
Yeah. But I do have a hospital bed, which is good. I sleep with my legs up and my feet up.
Oh, good.
My feet and my head.
So it's comfortable.
It's very comfortable, because I think I need that. My legs are very swollen. But I've taken that medicine. What is it called?
I don't know what it's called.
To go, to bring the fluid out of your body?
No, for the pain in my back.
From the shingles, she was never able to lean back on her back.
Yeah, well, you know that, because you used to treat me all the time.
Yeah.
I can lean back on my back. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But I still can't sit in the chair and relax, because it's a different feeling, and my back won't let me do that. But I don't care, because I can get up. I go back quite a ways,
Yeah. Well, someone probably 20 or 30 years younger than you probably doesn't move as well as you do, because you spent all those years being so strong.
Well, this is true.
You are very physically strong by doing all the snow blowing, cutting the grass.
Oh, yeah.
Taking care of the kids, taking care of the animals.
Yeah.
You're a strong woman, inside and out.
Yeah.
What would people call you? They call you the cribbage queen. Do you have any nicknames? Anybody call you?
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Monkey child.
Monkey child.
Eagle.
Yeah, but they call
Key.
Yeah, Blackie. My son called me. What the hell? What do you call the birds? The
Seagull.
He called me a seagull, and I said, "No, I don't want to be a seagull. I want to be an eagle."
Others, why did they call you a seagull?
Yeah.
Why?
What? Did he call you a seagull?
Because you were always there, no matter what house it was, as long as it had food.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I've had a lot of names. When I was young, I was called Deanie, because my last name was Constantini, so they call me Deanie. And when I got to high school, they called me Concy because my name was Constantini, so
Some people called you Claudia, but not too many.
yeah, no, I had a lot of nicknames.
What was the reason behind that monkey one?
Monkey child?
Monkey Child? I don't know.
Danny.
That was my second oldest son who called me Monkey Child. Who knows, Didn't make
Why
any
did they
difference
call you Black Diego?
because I'm a Dago. When you're an Italian,
A Dago.
they call you a Dago.
Okay.
That's a nickname for Italian. So
Okay.
he called me Black Dago.
And you found out in your history tree that there was
Yeah.
a black person in the family way back.
They did one of them DNA tests.
So she was a Black Dago.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh.
But it was her, not us, though.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it was cute. One of my granddaughters did that for Christmas for me.
Ancestry
Oh.
research.
Yeah.
Those are so neat to find, like, the ancestry, like, where you're from.
Yeah.
Well, and for you to have such, like, close family, like, your grandfather that, you started this podcast talking about him wiping the swing off, for him to be coming straight from Italy,
Yeah.
and for your mom's side, for them to be coming straight from Sweden,
Yeah.
did they share stories about their time in the old world, or?
Not really, because I was so young when I was staying with them, that not really. I know my grandmother, grandfather talked Italian and my grandmother talked Swedish, but they could talk English also.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of coming over. You have to learn the language,
Yeah.
that you're going to be working with.
Right. And
Yeah.
adapt to the new way, the new culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandfather, I know, made wine on the side and it was illegal. So in the basement, I used to always wonder why there was a door that you could hardly see. And when they opened it, there was like 6 barrels there that they were making wine, because you weren't allowed to make wine then in them days.
Isn't that interesting? I bet it was such good wine.
It was. I mean, I was allowed to have a little bit of wine because that's what Italian people did.
Yeah.
They had wine before they ate a meal.
That the Italian history. When you were born, they had a party. When you die, they have a party also. For the coming in, for the going.
And my grandmother was a farmer. And I mean, she drove horses. They did their hay, with a buggy. They didn't no baled or anything. It was all freely put in barns. And
Work lifted.
Wow.
it was just, yeah. And I definitely remember that because I was old enough to be able to go in there and watch it, but I was not allowed to jump in the hay because they didn't want you to knock off the ends that were, that was the good part for the cows. So you were allowed to look in there, but you weren't allowed to jump in it. And it was so tempting,
I bet.
Yeah. And when she had a barn with lots of cows and they milked them. And if a cow had a baby, I wasn't allowed in the barn because she said, no, that's not a good thing to see.
Oh.
So naturally, I went and saw. And you could see how the baby was, well, there's all that afterbirth.
Yes.
But when I was married to my first husband, we had cows and we bred the cows. And I got to see the birth and to help pull the calf out. And I thought, it's a good thing I saw that when I was a kid. Because it didn't shock me, I mean, it's a really good feeling, so.
I had to witness the miracle
Absolutely.
of birth.
Yeah. And then when my kids had, we did that with the horses and so it's not a shock anymore. You know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And I never minded getting my hands dirty.
That is very evident. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to work and do whatever needs to be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So like I said, I had a good life, and I'm ready.
Mm. Well, I'm so grateful that you got to be on this podcast and share some of your stories. I don't know if Dennis or Mary want to add any fun things or add any fun memories or.
I remember going to her brother's camp, or we were doing we were doing a family thing. I would have did it different than the way that he did it, but that was back in her younger years. She was probably 60s, maybe. And we'd go a little behind snowmobiles and pull us on car hoods and that kind of stuff. We'd do iceberg jumping and her getting drunk there, and she had to take her teeth out so she didn't puke them out, and she handed them off, and she didn't know who she gave them to. I wish I would have been the one that she gave them to, because I would have used them. I would have bartered, but, I mean, that's a part of growing up. I mean, nobody got hurt. It's like going on this 21-acre trailer. I mean, nobody was getting hurt. Nobody got harmed. No animal got harmed. That was kind of neat. It was interesting.
You did
My
fun
son-in-law
things.
in that same lake,
Yeah.
because that was a fishing lake too, and he was just little, but
Well, I try to tell my kids, sometimes I think it's hard to balance the work of life and having fun, and we definitely need to put a little bit of fun in our days.
Yeah, definitely.
It sounds like you were able to balance that.
I enjoyed it. I really did. One of the girls that I took, like I would take with the horses and that, Jody, I'm talking about, she wrote a thing and put it on Facebook one time. And I thought, well, isn't that nice? She said, I mean, all the things that I did with the neighbor kids that, like her mother couldn't do, but I went out and did them with it. And she said how she'll never forget the memories that we've had, with the horses and tenting and the whole 9 yards. And I thought, well, I'm glad that I made other people happy besides just my kids,
Absolutely.
impression.
Yeah, it's really.
It's kind of funny growing up with her. We were all within ear distance, and the neighbor would always come over and say, "Which one is the little bastard?" Because when she'd say that, all four boys would lift up and see if we were getting talked to or who it was that the little bastard was.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because she married my neighbor later in life, and she said, "I know you have four boys, Claudine, and they're Dale, Danny, Donald, and Dennis. And which one is the little bastard?" I said, "Whichever one doesn't answer me." That was what it was. This is the kind of a person, I mean, this is the kind of person I was. I didn't mind swearing. Had no trouble with it at all. If I was really irritated, I mean, they always used to say one of my eyebrows goes up in the air, and that means that Ma's mad or she doesn't like what you're saying. And it's true. I mean, I can feel it go up.
Dad could make her put her eyebrow up that quick. He just go like that, and she would get into right there.
Yeah, it would, it's like, it's just.
It was good memories. I mean, there's something she did too.
Oh, my.
What?
That's her. That was probably her best female friend.
Yeah, and that's her daughter was the one that I would take horseback riding, and that's my grandson, and that's my oldest son, Phil.
My other brother, Daryl. Dale, that's the way, but.
Yeah, but anyway, I've had a very good life. I never expected it to be like this. The ending, this is very surprising, and it's a lot to handle.
Yeah.
But is it the ending, or is it just the next chapter?
Well, I'm okay with it. I really am. Yeah,
I like to have a vision. I've watched some of those movies about like people's real life heaven experiences, and they say that there are people waiting for you, like to welcome you into heaven. And wouldn't that be a beautiful thing? Like I envisioned when my mom was, going to heaven, that her parents were there waiting for her.
Absolutely.
It's just, what I imagine.
Yep. Yeah, I do. Every morning I get up and when I'm in bed and I see my big pine tree out there that if it's rained, it's taken all the snow off or what, but I would say, thank you, God, for one more day. Because who knows? Nobody does.
Nobody does.
You could ride down the road and get killed yourself immediately. Who knows?
Exactly.
But I know that I'm going to go, and now I can think about it, but it doesn't make me so sad.
And you're living every single day to that fullest. Yeah. Thank you for being on this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Since this interview was recorded, Claudine has passed away. We send our sincere condolences to her family, her friends, and everyone who knew and loved her. We're honored she shared this time with us, and we hope this conversation keeps a little of her strength, warmth, and spirit close.
Thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this podcast, would you please rate it, review it, like, or subscribe? You can find me on social media at watchyourwellness.com, Dr. Stephanie Wattier on Instagram, or Watch Your Wellness Chiropractic and Massage on Facebook. And I'm so curious where your next conversation will take you.